Well, considering how the Sony Marvel deal's going right now, that mid-credit scene feels a tad awkward. So just so you guys know, this movie was out for a very long time, and most of you have probably seen it by now, so this is going to be a spoiler review. If you haven't seen the movie... So Spider-Man Far From Home. It's the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming. It takes place immediately after Avengers Endgame. Basically, Peter's trying to adjust to school life again. He's trying to deal with Tony Stark being gone. It still really hurt him. But his team is going on a field trip throughout Europe, and he's going to confess his feelings to MJ, because I guess he developed feelings for her within that time. But then along the way, Nick Fury calls him. He needs him to help them take care of the elementals. And Mysterio, the new hero, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. So let's get the good out of the way right now. This was a good movie. I did enjoy this movie a lot. I'd say the standout for me was probably Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. Mysterio's a tough villain to do. In the comics, he is just a special effects guy who became a supervillain to like commit crimes, and he uses, you know, smoke and mirrors illusions. That's what he does. I really like in this movie how they connected him and Tony Stark. Basically, in this movie, Quentin Beck is a ex-Stark employee. He's the one who's responsible for the whole barf hologram simulator that Tony did in Civil War. He was fired because he was unstable. And yeah, watching the movie, you can see why he was fired. But what he does is he gets a bunch of ex-Stark employees to come in and help him with this huge con. They have all these drones that go and make projections of him. Basically, he's just in a motion capture suit the entire time. And one guy who was helping him was actually in Iron Man 1, so that's a nice little callback to that. So I'll say that the way they connected it to Tony Stark with Quentin Beck was actually very good. I like that a lot. That was a good way to handle it. Also, Tom Holland, I always thought he was good as Spider-Man. He's not my favorite Spider-Man, but he's a good Spider-Man. I'll give him credit for that. He's a really good high school Spider-Man. And that's not me being mean to his character or anything. It's just he's playing Peter Parker at a particular point in his life. Peter's still in high school at this point. He's very green. He hasn't been doing this for very long. He's still discovering his powers, which they finally bring up spider sense in this movie.
My spider sense is tingling.
I like how that was handled in the final fight with Mysterio. Sam Jackson's always good as Nick Fury. You can't go wrong with him. Zendaya, she had a lot more to do in this movie than she did in Homecoming. Did she have a lot of lines in Homecoming? The guy playing his friend, Ned, I've always liked him. I liked him in Homecoming. I liked him in that one little scene in Avengers Infinity War. And I liked him in this movie. I can't go wrong with him. There's this other guy who's also interested in MJ, but he's kind of a snake. Example, he catches Peter in an awkward situation in which he's changing into a S.H.I.E.L.D. outfit in front of a woman, and the guy literally catches Peter with his pants down. And he just takes a photo of it, like a dick. And it's about to show it to MJ, be like, oh my god, look, here's what Peter does. He was with this woman. Oh my god, he's such a perv. Don't be that guy, man. I hate that guy. And when Peter has to leave the opera house to go do his S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff and has to unfortunately leave MJ, he flicks him off and just takes his seat. The hell, dude? I know they say all is fair in love and war, but this guy's just... wow, you really don't want to have friends, man. And now I'm going to get into what annoyed me in this movie. And honestly, it's been annoying me ever since Civil War. And what is that? 4 words.
Bring up Uncle Ben.
Seriously, they barely talk about him in these movies. There's only one reference to him in this movie, and his initials are on Peter's suitcase. That's it. So I've always been so annoyed that they never brought him up. Yeah, they alluded to him kinda, not really, sorta, in Spider-Man Homecoming. But you don't bring him up at all, especially when Peter's trying to explain why he does what he does. Uncle Ben is one of the reasons. Bring him up, for God's sake. With great power comes great responsibility. That is what he told Peter. My God. You want a good example as to why Uncle Ben's words are so impactful and make such a big difference? There's a fan-made video out there of the scene in Spider-Man Homecoming where he's pinned under the building and he's having trouble pushing up, and he looks to the mask and he hears Tony's voice. But in this case, the guy put in the original Spider-Man theme from the Raimi movies and Uncle Ben's words as he's looking into the mask. And that scene felt so much more powerful just from Uncle Ben's voice alone. And now, because of the Sony Marvel deal, we're probably never going to know what happened to Uncle Ben, if he even exists in this world. But the best part of this movie, and we all know it to be true, that mid-credit scene when Spider-Man's identity is revealed to the public. Who's the one who does it? J. Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons once again. Hell yeah! Woo! That was awesome. J.K. Simmons is the best J. Jonah Jameson. Everybody knows that, and it was so cool to see him again. Just to hear him go,
there you have it, folks, Spider-Man!
Just to hear him say Spider-Man the way he does. I was the guy who clapped when I saw that. Because it's J. Jonah Jameson. It's J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. He was amazing. So taking all that into account, and considering I've had a lot of time to think about the movie, I know it's taking me a while. I'm going to give Spider-Man Far From Home a solid 7 out of 10 stars. It's an enjoyable movie. It's not my favorite Spider-Man movie, but, you know, I still liked it. I liked Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. I loved the J. Jonah Jameson cameo. And I think Tom Holland's a fine Spider-Man. My quick thoughts on the Sony Marvel deal. It wasn't going to last forever, and it's disappointing. Though I am excited to see if he goes up against Tom Hardy's Venom. That'd be pretty cool. And Woody Harrelson's Carnage. Ooh, that would be awesome. So there you have it. There's my review of Spider-Man Far From Home. What did you think of the movie? Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked what you've seen here, go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell icon so you can know when I put out a new video. As always, there are links to my Twitter and Instagram profiles in the description box. Just peace with y'all. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.